Okay, friends, we got a video here to respond to some of your questions. Okay, this is AJ Stacks with a dollar sign. Now you have to eat these words. The black girl sister came with receipts. The guy was not stealing the bike from that lady. They did have receipts, something her lawyer didn't have, but was only said. So you were wrong. She was being a Karen. She will not have went over to the other bike to easily pay for it. Okay, and I answered by saying I'll be more glad to look into it. So I'm doing that right now. So I will be more glad to take back my words if the story is true. Let me check it out publicly here with you. Let's see how true that is. So this is supposedly the video of the sister arguing for her brothers, and she's got the receipts according to the sister. Let's find out what this is about.
Why Sarah Jane Comrie was able to produce this receipt for this bicycle is because she jumped over this young man standing right here who had his hands on the handlebars, jumped over him, impales herself on his bike, and scans the QR code to begin the ride. How did all of this happen, and how do I know what happened? Because that young man is my little brother. Bike number 5603915 was in my brother's possession from St. Nicholas Ave, Manhattan Ave, all the way to First Ave and East 30th Street from the hours of 6:33 p.m. to 7:19 p.m. At 7:19 p.m., they dock the bikes. Sarah Jane Comrie walks up to them, asks, "Hey guys, can I use one of you guys' bikes?" She says this as there are other bikes sitting idle at the bike rack. They politely decline. She asks them again, mentions that she's pregnant, and they still decline. Then, with my brother standing next to the bike with his hands on the handlebars, she jumps onto the bike, sits on the bike, and scans the QR code, thus beginning her ride. Mind you, the bike was in my brother's possession at this time. So this screenshot is from 6 minutes after the previous ride ended. Once the boys reached the bike rack, they docked the bike to restart the ride. My brother's standing next to the bike. That's when Sarah Jane Comrie walks up to them and asks, "Hey, can I ride this bike?" They say no. They politely decline. She asks them again. They politely decline. As the bike is docked is when she jumps over my brother because he's standing with his hands on the handlebar. She jumps over my brother to start her ride. Then the bike gets pushed back in during the back and forth. And then my brother is able to start the ride again for him. As you can see, 7:25 p.m. Previous ride ended 7:19 p.m. These gentlemen, these boys, did not steal this bike from Sarah Jane Comrie. She stole the bike from them, then proceeded to weaponize her whiteness. Video started being recorded at 7:24 p.m., close to 7:25. My brother's ride that was in the previous screenshot starts at 7:25. The initial ride where my brother rode the bike all the way over to this bike dock ended at 7:19 p.m. Sarah Jane Comrie walked up to them. Sarah Jane Comrie asked them if they can use the bike. They said no. Sarah Jane Comrie sees that the bike is docked, gets up, scans the QR code, jumps onto the bike, starts screaming for help and fake crying so that she can get an electric city bike. There were a number of bikes at the bike rack already there when she arrived. She still proceeded to try to take the bike from my brother. Help. Trying to get help for the city bike. The city bike is in my brother's possession on his account. 7:25 p.m. Docks it at 7:19 p.m. Picks it back up 7:25 p.m. While she's screaming for help, 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 trying to make it seem like these boys stole this bike from her, the bike is on my brother's account. It is not defamation of character if the way that you behave reflected your character. It is not defamation if it's true. Sarah Jane Comrie, you did behave like a Karen. That's true. There's no way around that.
Okay. Thank you for that story. Does this prove anything? that will change my perspective, or either make her Sarah Jane Camry. Do I believe she was in the wrong because of this testimony of the alleged sister, which we don't know for certain, but it's possible that could be one of the brothers' sister of one of the men that was on a bike. Yeah, that's possibly. But here is my issue. This is his sister. All right, in a court of law, she will be kicked out of the room. Here's the reason why. It's not because what she has to say might not be true, but the fact she wasn't at the scene, she was not present, and she's talking about this matter, is very doubtful that she has biased view. If she is a family member, she will always choose the side of the family member. All right. This kind of testimony will not be accepted in court. All right. That's number one. But let's just give her the benefit of the doubt. The second issue I have with this is, where is your brother? Why are you the one advocating for your brother? Isn't he a big boy to defend himself? He defended himself when he was out there with her, and totally stood firm for his ground with his boys. Where is he now when this story has been made public, is gone viral? That's another issue. We cannot find the brother. He's nowhere to be found. And the sister is speaking for him. That's a problem. But nevertheless, let's give that the benefit of the doubt. Third, you went after her whiteness. All right, that's bad for testimony, because that is like a personal attack, a character assassination kind of thing. This is like a racist comment that makes your story very incredible, and it defames your entire testimony. But let's give that the benefit of the doubt as well. First of all, here is the issue. Her testimony and what this girl is showing actually does not, there's no confusion here. I think this is more as an admission of guilt. It actually works in her favor. If I were this girl, I will delete this video, because this is even worse for their case. It's proving Sarah Jane to be in the right. Why? She said, according to her, the bike was docked at 7:19. And it was not undocked again, or taken or re-registered to be used until 7:25. Okay, so the timing matters. So which tells me between 7:19 to 7:25, this was a 6-minute in between, the bike was unused. So it's possible the brother might have used the bike, docked it, and stepped away from the bike, right? Let's see what's going on here. This is the testimony of the lady. This is the testimony of the lawyer on behalf of Sarah. He said after the healthcare worker wrapped up her shift, 12-hour shift, she got on an available bike, which no individual were on or touching. This is significant, right? And paid it through the CD app on her phone. The sister said in that TikTok video, her brother was on the bike. At 7:19, he docked the bike, sat on the bike. That is not the testimony of Sarah. She was the eyewitness. So I have a hard time believing the sister, because the sister was not present. Now, it's possible that the boys might have said that, or her brother might have said that to her. How am I supposed to believe him over her? Now, that's a good thing. But when you do look at the story, you do not see the young man on the bike. So in other words, what you have to tell me here, in other words, this woman, this is what you want me to believe. This white, as you want to refer to her, white woman, pregnant white woman, healthcare individual, saw a young black man sitting on a bike. And she came in and said, let me use this bike. And she got on it. Think of the idea of a woman just got on a bike in front of a black man. You believe that with your mind? With your heart? Come on now. That doesn't happen. Now, it's possible the bike that she herself has rented, because it was dark at 19. So from 7:19 to 7:25, this bike was available. So it's highly possible the brother had used the bike and maybe wanted to reuse the same bike, right? Maybe he was in the process of re-renting the bike. And she came in and already rented it before he did. But the bike was already docked at 7:19. So between 7:19 to 7:25, this bike could be used by anybody. So she got on an available bike and no one was on it. This is significant. So we've proven her claim to be true. So that means either the brother was standing by watching for somebody to come to get the bike. Maybe he just liked the bike so much. Maybe this was one of the best bikes that they had at the station. It's one of those things, but nevertheless, it doesn't prove anything. It only proves her story to be true, which means 7:19 to 7:25, those 6 minutes in between, this is an available bike and this woman got on it. So even though he might have used the bike before, but once it's docked at 7:19, according to her claim, it only goes as far to show that this woman, again, is right. The young men are in the wrong. This doesn't help their case. This proves her to be innocent. Now, you can say, those fake tears and things like that. You can address that. We can talk about that. You can say her crying for help is a problem. Well, what are you supposed to do? Pregnant, live in New York City, 5 black men around you, and they're pushing you over a bike. I don't know what I would do if I was in her position. I don't know. But the other thing I also want to say, let's be honest. So that claim here doesn't prove anything. This receipt only confirms the testimony of the woman. So I don't know anything you're talking about. There is no words I need to take back. I was in the right by saying that. And but here's the thing. Whatever happened to respecting women today? You know this? I think that's what people are ignoring about all of this that troubles me. Even if this was your bike as a man, a woman comes and wants to take the bike. Now, I don't feel the need to say you need to pay for her to ride the bike, but I would say, you know what, it's okay. I'll let you take the bike. Let me get it off my account, right? And you go ahead and take the bike. You're a woman. That's what men supposed to do. Have you noticed that men are not doing what men supposed to do today? I've seen men smacking women around today, beating women publicly. There was a video I saw in New York train. Another black man and a white girl was talking to him. He just smacked her in the face. It was the most disrespectful thing.
My train riding and my feet.
Say it to my face now. Say it to my face now. Tell me to take a chill pill. Say the word chill pill.
Oh. Yeah. This is what they doing. And I want you to be careful because there's a spirit here that we need to challenge. When a man start beating on women, I know society is confusing male and female, and that's part of the problem too. But when it becomes okay publicly to watch men beating on women and nobody doing nothing, and by the way, that video, nobody did nothing for her. She was left to herself. You know why? This is a black man. You can touch the black man today, even though he is violent, he's in the wrong. Because society will deem you all kind of, hey, you better not. That man is infallible, okay? His ancestors had endorsed slavery. He can do no wrong. So you telling me it's okay for these young black male to go after the nurse in the way that they did. And people who want to go after nurses, you don't know. Nurses are among the most loving people in the world. You know how I know? Because I'm in the nursing field as well. And that's like my first job. Okay, my second job is ministry. And also, my wife is a nurse. Actually, my brother is a nurse. My entire family are in nursing. My mother is a nurse. And I work with a bunch of nurses myself. These are some of the most loving, caring people on earth. And the second thing is, people who are saying this nurse was she was weaponizing her whiteness. That's just nonsense. And that's a racist statement. And these people will put up with the worst of kinds. I'm telling you. Black, white, Hispanic, drug addicts, and also alcoholics. I've seen nurses breaking their backs caring for these individuals. I've worked with these nurses. They will weep and cry for their patients because of the love and the compassion they have. Are there some bad nurses in the world? Yes, they are. But for the most part, most nurses that I know and dealt with are decent nurses. Okay. So the issue of going after nurses is just dumb. Some of the most valuable people in society are nurses. You can't do without them. And also to use her skin color as a reason to demean and devalue her, that's also wrong. No, these young black men, and this sounds like it was more of a mixed up. And and one of the issue that I have is, why did you guys started recording around that time? You notice that the time they started recording her, it's almost like they knew what they were about to do and they wanted to make sure they catch this on video. It looks like it's one of those things. It looks like a perfect setup. That's my thought on that. But nevertheless, why is your sister advocating for you as a man? Why aren't you guys showing up? Why don't you show your own receipts? It does appear that they had rescheduled to use the bike at 7:25, but 7:19 to 7:25, that's 6 minutes in between, which tells me this bike is available. So highly likely Sarah got on a bike that was available. Whether or not he was using the bike prior to, it doesn't matter. The bike is available. It's no longer in his possession. To say that she was stealing a black man's bike, that is foolish. But we can talk all day, all night. Again, listen, man. Listen. I'm not advocating for anything here. I'm advocating for truth. I could care less about skin color. I really don't care. What I care about is humanity. What I care about is us coming together and stop letting this world dividing us because of black and white and this and that. We gotta stop falling for this. We're at a point in our society today where there should be more love and compassion in our hearts toward each other, when we should bear each other's burden. When somebody's in need, we should be willing to care for them, not stepping in and mistreating individual. The other thing is, talking about a pregnant woman in the way that some of yous are, something is wrong with y'all. Like, the condition of your heart is really bad. Like, you really gotta think about that. Like, this is not good for you to ever think like because she's pregnant and she's white, therefore she deserves these treatments. And I think that's just wrong. That's just wrong. And I will advocate for any pregnant women regardless of skin color. I don't care, because it's just that they are human beings and they are very vulnerable. They got a lot of emotional issues at this stage of their lives. My wife's been pregnant twice. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, I've lived with pregnant women, and these are people you got to be very careful what you say to them, about them, and how you treat them during this phase of their lives. And every woman should know that. But it seems like the people who are pushing the hardest in the comments and stuff are women. I'm like, guys, you should know that. You should be holding men accountable for not acting like men instead of demonizing the girl because she's white. That to me is wrong. Anyway, friends, that's my thought on that. We can end this video. Thank you for listening. I was going to share a Bible verse, but instead, I'll let you go. I will not preach this time. But again, this doesn't prove anything. If anything, she looks even better now with that video. That video that the sister put out, it only helps her case. And I hope she realizes that. Anyway, have a good one. Bye.